With me today is Vanessa Folkerts, founder and treasurer of the Thame Sherpa Heritage Fund, which was formed to support the rebuilding and development of the Thame Valley community in Nepal after the tragic earthquakes that occurred in the spring of 2015. As many of you know, in 2013 I went to Nepal to climb Tarpu Chuli in the Annapurna Sanctuary. During that climb, I became friends with my guide, Sherpa Ang Norbu, who lives in Thame. Ang Norbu and I have stayed in touch since then, and through him I learned about the devastation that the earthquakes had on his village. You'll recall that America Portfolios put together a fundraiser to help the people of Thame. Since then, I'm pleased to say that we've raised over $18,000. Vanessa is here with me to discuss how those dollars have been put to use and what progress the fund is making in the region. Vanessa, why don't we start out by talking a little bit about your role and the formation of the Thame Sherpa Heritage Fund. In fact, you were the youngest European woman to climb Everest at the time. Tell us a little bit about that.
Thanks, Lon. So I first visited the Thame Valley in 2009 as a climber and participated in several expeditions culminating in Everest in 2010. But whatever achievements there may have been there for me, the lasting impact was my relationship with the Thame Valley community. And many people visit this area and they come back touched by the incredible strength and grace of this people.
They're a gentle people, the Sherpas, aren't they?
They're incredibly strong. They are the Olympians of the mountains. And no one who has visited can forget also the gracious hospitality that they extend.
So how did the earthquakes specifically impact the people in the region?
The earthquakes had a devastating effect on the Thame Valley. And while fortunately the loss of life was less severe than it could have been, we saw 90% of households lose their homes. That corresponds to about 250 homes that needed to be rebuilt. And fortunately, thanks to the efforts of our board members and the true resilience of the community itself with an incredible work ethic, they were able to rebuild at least the roofs over their heads by winter.
Weather, the monsoon season, is this going to affect you?
The monsoon had an effect last year, and we're standing on the cusp of the monsoon again. Incredibly, despite the discomfort, people do continue to build in that season. I think it draws attention, though, to the isolation of the Thame Valley, and that's one of the major challenges. Monsoon, through the heavy rainfall, can trigger landslides, which prevent access to the area, and anything needs to be carried either on foot, on yak, or by helicopter, which is extremely expensive.
Now, in August of 2015, the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology was brought in to assess reconstruction needs. Tell us about the collaboration with the Swiss.
It was very important to all of us that in the rebuilding process, we help people to rebuild better than they had before, because 2 earthquakes hit last year, multiple aftershocks, and the next earthquake is going to come. It's a certainty. So the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology's Earthquake Engineering and Architecture departments became our technical advisors and have developed locally targeted rebuilding techniques that use local materials and are locally cost-effective in order to build back safer.
So far, the money that's been raised, tell us a little bit about specifically how it's been used.
Thanks to our donors, we've raised several $100,000 and are aiming for much more than that because of the high expense of building in this valley. We decided to focus on community assets so that while we support individual efforts as well, we want to make sure that the schools, the community centers do not get left behind, and that in fact they become model building projects from which everyone else can learn and could be replicated in neighboring valleys.
So what's your goals, your long-term goals for sustainability?
We're going to continue making sure that our initiative is community-led, that at every step of the way it involves community input and prioritizes local villagers' priorities.
In the next 12 months?
So right now, young men of Thame Valley are just descending from Everest, and they're going to be returning to their villages to continue rebuilding. And we hope to have some major progress by the onset of this winter in November.
So here's the million-dollar question. What makes the Thame Sherpa Heritage Fund different from all other charitable organizations?
Our donors are supporting Thame Valley directly. All of the money that we receive goes directly to the village, to our projects, and at the same time, we also maintain the highest standards of financial accountability and governance.
Well, Vanessa, thank you for joining us today and for all the hard work you and the Thame Sherpa Heritage Fund are doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Lon.